They thought they could break her spirit, until he shattered their world. One moment, Taylor Swift was hauled across a hushed school hallway by sneering students. The next, the entire academy froze as the owner himself strode in, looked her in the eye, and announced, "Everyone, this is my wife." What happened next became a legend at Hawthorne Academy. And today, you'll hear the full, unbelievable story. Taylor Swift arrived at Hawthorne Academy, an elite boarding school perched on a windswept Vermont hill, eager to start her role as creative writing instructor. With her warm smile and genuine care for young minds, she quickly won over most of the student body, except for one clique, the Harrington Brat Pack, led by wealthy heiress Vanessa Harrington, daughter of the school's major sponsor. On Taylor's very first morning, she guided students through a bright glass-walled corridor toward Classroom C. Enthusiastic freshmen trailed behind, clutching notebooks. Suddenly, laughter exploded. Vanessa and her friends blocked the hallway exit. Before Taylor could react, two burly classmates seized her arms and dragged her across the polished floor, books and papers flying. While Vanessa sneered, "Who taught you to write? You don't belong here." Phones snapped pictures, whispers rippled, and Taylor's heart pounded. When at last they released her, she crumpled to her knees, her blouse torn and her dignity battered. The hallway fell silent, everyone staring at Taylor's shocked face and the smug grin on Vanessa's. Without a word, Taylor gathered her scattered lecture notes and retreated to her empty classroom, determined not to let this humiliation define her. In the solitude of Classroom C, Taylor closed the door and leaned against the wall. She took a deep breath, brushing dust from her jeans. As she glanced at her phone, a text from Elias Grant lit up the screen. "Hope your first day isn't too brutal. Dinner tonight?" Elias Grant, the enigmatic owner of Hawthorne Academy, rarely seen on campus, yet revered by staff. Taylor's pulse quickened. She and Elias had met months earlier at a literary conference, sparking a discreet friendship that had blossomed into something more. He'd invited her to teach at his school, promising a creative haven for her writing. But he'd also warned her to keep their relationship private until she felt secure. Taylor texted back, "Dragged but not defeated. See you at 7 p.m. She spent the afternoon finishing her lecture on storytelling, her voice steady despite the bruises forming beneath her sleeves. Word of the hallway incident had already spread. Students whispered and teachers exchanged worried glances. Yet Taylor maintained calm professionalism, greeting each student with gentle encouragement. At precisely 7 p.m., Taylor arrived in the Grand Headmaster's office, a cozy library lined with leather-bound books and soft lamplight. Elias stood by the window, his silhouette strong against the twilight sky. He greeted her with a quiet smile and led her to an antique settee. "I heard what happened today," he said softly. "I'm so sorry." He poured them each a cup of herbal tea. "I've spoken with the dean and the board. Vanessa and her cohort will face disciplinary action tomorrow morning." Taylor nodded, gratitude and relief mingling with lingering hurt. "Thank you," she whispered, "but I want to handle it with my head, not my heart." Elias reached across and gently covered her hand. "As you wish. But know that tomorrow I plan to make a demonstration. They need to see that respect here is non-negotiable." Taylor's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" He rose and walked to the door. "Wait and see." The next day, at first period, Taylor stood at the front of Classroom C, preparing to teach. The door burst open, and the school assembly director announced, "All faculty and students, immediate assembly in the main hallway." Confused whispers trailed behind the crowd as they filed into the long corridor. At the center stood Elias Grant, tall, composed, and wearing a perfectly tailored suit. Flanking him were the dean and several board members. Taylor stepped forward, her heart racing. Elias raised his hand, and the hallway fell silent. Cameras and smartphones were raised in every direction. "Yesterday, my wife was dragged down this very hallway," he began, voice steady and resonant. Gasps rippled through the students. Vanessa's smirk vanished, replaced by wide-eyed shock. "My wife," Elias repeated, turning to look directly at Taylor, who stepped forward in surprise. Taylor Swift, creative writing instructor, friend, partner, and yes, my wife. A stunned hush fell. Phones lowered as reality crystallized. Vanessa's face blanched. The dean's stern countenance softened into admiration. Elias continued, "We value creativity, respect, and kindness at Hawthorne Academy. Those who violate these principles will face the consequences." He gestured to Vanessa and her clique. "You will write a 3,000-word apology essay on empathy, present it at tomorrow's assembly, and volunteer in Ms. Swift's creative workshops every week this semester." Vanessa swallowed, nodding shakily. The hallway, once a stage for mockery, erupted into applause, this time for Taylor's dignity and Elias's fair but firm justice. Over the following weeks, Taylor's workshops flourished under her leadership. Students once quiet in the back row found their voices, penning poems, short stories, and scripts that filled the hall with vibrant creativity. Vanessa and her friends, now humbled, attended every session, and even thanked Taylor sincerely for her forgiveness and guidance. The Academy's reputation soared as news of the dramatic showdown spread. Teacher dragged, becomes owner's wife, turned students into writers, headline local papers. Enrollment inquiries skyrocketed, and funding for the creative arts program doubled. One afternoon, after a lively workshop, Taylor packed her bag as Elias slipped in. He hugged her from behind and whispered, "You've turned this place into something extraordinary." She leaned back against him, smiling. "We did it together." As they walked hand in hand through the sunlit hallway, once the scene of her humiliation, they passed students who waved and called out, "Ms. Swift." The corridor, once echoing with cruel laughter, now resonated with applause and promise. Taylor's journey at Hawthorne Academy had begun with shove, but it ended with a declaration that true respect is earned through courage, compassion, and partnership. And as the couple stepped into a bright new chapter, both at the school and in life, their story became a testament to standing tall when dragged low, and to the power of love and leadership in rewriting any narrative. If Taylor's inspiring comeback moved you, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more unforgettable, YouTube-friendly stories where dignity and justice shine. Share this video and remind someone, never underestimate the magic of standing up for yourself and for others.